Hello shareholders, and what's in this week's show? Well, David is boiling up for his big showings. He's been to New Zealand and to Africa, as you know, and he's getting those together. First of all, he has to get them together in his head, and then he's going to get them together for you on screen. So this week we have a small outing after Row with Roy, just to acknowledge that the rut has taken place. And spoiler alert, well, we don't get very much, but there's an interesting little sequence with the Stoat, which is worth watching for that. Also, we have Smoke and Targets. It's back. It's not with Ben Hustwaite. Moose, you'll be delighted to hear. It is with Mark Windsor, and we're concentrating on game targets, which I know somebody's been calling for recently. I didn't have a chance to say last week, thank you very much to everybody who came to see us at the Game Fair Theatre. And thank you for all the positive comments about the shareholders meeting, the podcast version which we put out last week. It was, I think, generally a great success. I've got another podcast going out shortly, and you'll see quite a lot of Game Fair theatre in our podcast series over the next few months. One of the questions which got answered by a shareholder last week is, why don't we just buy shares in Lush and force them to tell us why they're trying to close down grouse shooting on the record so we can make a film about it. While I looked into that, unfortunately Lush is a private company, so they won't sell us shares unless they want to. But I tell you what, the moment they go public, we will be first in the queue. Now, as it's a Tuesday, it's become traditional for me to tell you about the problems that we face at Field Sports Channel, and we've hit another bump. You know, I said that Crowdcube wasn't going to host us on their crowdfunding website because they're vegan, and that Cedars would, because Cedars, which is Crowdcube's main rival, is pro-shooting, its head of legal is pro-shooting. Well, it turns out their chief executive is frightened of the violent backlash from antis, so they've turned us down as well. This was just over a week ago. I have been looking more and more into this, and I have discovered that we can go ahead with what are called, and this is where it gets boring, white label crowdfunding businesses. And I've spoken to two, and we've chosen one called Investry, and we are signed up for that. So thank goodness we are back on track, but not quite as we expected. As part of that, we'll be using an online shareholder management system, so I expect I'll be contacting you via that. And from now on, I'm going to start calling you angels or dragons or other mythical creatures. I'm not allowed to call you investors, apparently, but you are still shareholders. This is all about navigating the rocky world of compliance. Be assured nothing has changed. It's just a whole lot of words to satisfy the government. If you want more detail on this, please email or phone, but don't be surprised if I fall asleep while talking to you about it. I even bore myself with this stuff at the moment. Now, some good news. Field Sports Channel's had two pieces of good news this week. First of all, we've joined the very small group of hunting, shooting, fishing channels worldwide that have had more than 100 million views. So alongside Lunkers TV, which is a good-looking lad from Kansas, we've got Ted Byers, who's the famous air gunner from Ted's Holdover, Tara Dara Brothers, another couple of youths, this time from Australia. The four of us are now 100 million view holders, which is fantastic. It means we're the biggest European hunting and gun channel by quite a long way. The next one down from us is 82 million. I won't embarrass them by saying who they are, and the one after that's 40 million. The gun channels, the pure gun channels, are on very big numbers at the moment. The biggest of all, Hickok 45, will shortly break through the 1 billion views mark, and he's followed by FPS Russia and Demolition Ranch, which are both north of 500 million. We're all a long way ahead of the antis. If you want to know how popular hunting and shooting is, PETA, which is their biggest, is on 210 million. There isn't another anti-hunting channel over 100 million views. And dear old League Against Cruel Sports from the UK will be celebrating this week because they've just broken through 1 million views. So since they started, they've had 8,000 views a week. We get around about 200 times that on our channel, and of course we get more views per month, slightly unfair comparison, but we get more views per month than everything on Sky and almost everything on the BBC and ITV. As you can see, I love shouting about how many views we get. If you want to find out how many views a channel has got, click on the About button on their channel page on YouTube, and if you want to have a look at our rankings of hunting and shooting channels, don't forget it's at bit.ly/hunting YouTube. The other piece of good news is YouTube has selected Field Sports Channel as the only channel in the hunting and shooting, fishing or gun world to trial its new series feature, and that's because we've been making long form shows, Field Sports Britain, every week for the last 9 years. It also means we get a shot at joining YouTube TV. Now, YouTube TV is a little bit like a standard issue internet network like Netflix or Apple TV, and it's only available in the United States at the moment, but what I'm hoping is that by the time it launches in the UK, we will at least be in the right place to be on it. And if we are on it, I think that'll answer many of you who want to see Field Sports Channel have a sort of more serious position in the world of TV. So as I say, YouTube series is in beta. YouTube TV is coming soon. And talking of soon, I will see you next week, but not before I've thanked Jefferson, shareholder, who's helping me out. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay.
See you next week.